8 p.m. French time for a chat for 15 minutes tomorrow would be amazing, please. Chances, please. I'll be your servant. I'm going to call you. You better answer. So there you go. Hit the clock. Hit the dial the number.
Dial the number, Robbie.
Let's go. Hello.
Hello.
Is that you, Sam? Yes! He's answered! Yes! Sammy Whitelock! It's the dagger!
I knew it was you, Daggy, and I was like, oh, do I answer? Do I not? I did answer.
Oh, mate, you're the worst communicator in history, whereas I can't shut you up at training, so what is it, mate? Come on.
Mate, some of us are still working a proper job, mate. Had back-to-back trainings today, so...
Working? You can't tell me that's work, Sam. You're throwing a
always
ball around
working
for
like
some
that.
Euro, mate.
No, not quite like that. No, it's been good, eh? Been enjoying the challenge over here, like different to the challenge in Japan and challenge at home, so... Yeah, it's been enjoyable so far, mate.
Sammy, honestly, I know it's been a big week, and you hate people talking about you. I know you personally. You'll be hating what's been going around the socials, but really, you got to sit back and reflect. I know you're still playing, but it's been a big couple of days for you, brother, and I've always spoken about, I made my debut with Sammy, and just watching your journey, it's been an absolute pleasure, and just seeing you continue to dominate, and... You know, you haven't changed one bit. You're consistently playing. You're never injured. Mate, what has the last couple of days been like?
Yeah, thanks, Daggy. Mate, known each other for a long time. I think I got to know you first at under-17s camp. So
Wow.
A few years ago now, mate, we're starting to rack a few up. But the last couple of days has it's been amazing, actually. Like, it's been full on. As you say, I am still playing. So trying to get better at speaking French, and that's coming along very, very slowly. But the messages and support and stuff, like my phone's been red hot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
People wanting to, send messages or have a quick yarn and just say congratulations so far, even though it's not done. So I apologise to everyone. I haven't got back to a lot of messages yet, but
you got back to the dagger.
Yeah, you're annoying, so you keep annoying me and sending me messages. So, but no, it's all good. It's been very, very humbling to answer your question truthfully. So
yeah.
Bonjour, Samuel. Je m'appelle Ricardo. Mate, I work every day with Izzy, and I have to ask you, because we know how it was when he retired. But where was it for you? What was that moment that made you go, you know what, I'm going to hang him up?
It's obviously something that we're all so aware of, and how long you been done for, Daggy? Like
5.
Every time I see Daggy, he's like, mate, retire, you're making me look bad. So he's been pushing for a while. I'm not sure he's happy with the way I've been playing or not. He's probably been,
Of course I'm happy, but you're just embarrassing me. I made my debut with you.
Mate, you started, I come off the bench, so you did a better one than me. But no, I think it's the reality, and we all think we're immortal, but the reality is we're not, and you got to get to a stage where either you're told, hey, you're done, or you make the decision and you're done. Doesn't mean either is an easy way, but yeah, like I one thing that was going through my head, I was really aware that I didn't want a supporter to say, watch me play here in France, and I just kind of had a vision of a father, saying to a son, hey, see that guy down there, that tall one losing his hair or whatever, saying he used to be a really good player. So that was one thing that kind of was kicking home a little bit. And the other one was just, I'd rather go out playing really good rugby. I still feel like I'm playing really good rugby. The body's starting to creak a little bit, but that's just what comes with being a professional rugby player. So yeah, kind of all those things put together, and want to spend a bit more time with my kids and my wife. It is hard on them, but yeah, it's just one of those things. You got to do it at some stage. So wanted to do it on my own terms versus someone saying, hey, look, you're done, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a pretty special moment when you are able to make the decision on your future and understanding what you've been able to achieve and not kind of putting a dampener on that and making those decisions. Wouldn't have been easy, Sammy, and I know family's a huge part of your life. You got a beautiful family that will love having you around, but I just don't know how you're going to deal with being around, mate. Are you going to be constantly out on that farming? Are you going to be in Rissington in Hawke's Bay?
Yeah. Well, that's the rough plan at the moment. We haven't confirmed what we're doing completely, because the big decision was, are we going to finish playing or not? And Hannah said to me, Hannah's my wife, if people don't know, but she's like, are you going to give away all your boots and I was like, I might just keep one pair just in case. I think the competitive edge is always going to be there. Talking to a lot of guys that have played with it have since retired, they've always said, oh, maybe just one more. But I think that's going to be the hard thing, is when you actually, when I do finish, and it's kind of weird talking this way because I'm still playing. Like, I've still got a few games to go this season, and we're right on the cusp of being in the playoffs. So hopefully we've got a few more to go yet.
One more to go. Was one more in New Zealand ever really a realistic option, Sammy?
I think, and this is what I'm saying with, never throwing out that last pair of boots. I'd always love to play more for my country. Like, I know you loved it. I know I've loved it. 99% of people that are lucky enough to play for their country always want more. So I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah.
If I played 300, I'd want more. It's just the way I am as a person. But like I say, it's got to come to an end at some stage. I can't complain with my career and how it's been so far. I haven't had time to sit back and reflect on different games and things like that. I think from what people have said, that kind of comes when you have some time, where at the moment I haven't had time. Like, honestly, my phone, every time I go to training and come back, look at it, I just say, oh, there's another 20 or 30 messages, and I'm like, try to get through them, and then all of a sudden it happens again. So when it all settles down, I think that's when some of that reality will hit in. Where at the moment it hasn't, so I haven't really thought that way yet.
Plenty of texts coming through already, mate. Here, Jim from Temuka saying, Sam, thank you for being you. Cheers, bro. So we're getting plenty of those messages through, which is great. Have you had to think about staying in rugby post-playing, mate? Has that ever been a thing for you? Have you ever wanted to coach or been involved
He's a
that
code
way?
head, of course.
Honestly, I think I'd be really upset with myself if I didn't pass on some of the amazing knowledge that I've been given through all the amateur coaches I had. I think of people that really set myself and another, all the other guys I played with, at school, at Lincoln University, New Zealand unis. Like, some of those teams, some of those coaches teach you the most, because you're at that age where you're so young and you're thirsty for knowledge. And then you get to play these amazing games and have these amazing professional coaches that have been doing it for as long as you've been alive, and you're going, some of the knowledge and the things that they've passed on, the things that they've taught you, I'd be really upset with myself if I didn't pass that on. But answering your question, do I want to be a head coach? Probably not at the moment, but I don't know what the future holds. So I think having involvement somewhere in rugby would be awesome, but what that looks like, don't know. What that looks like in the future, don't know as well. So trying to just sprint across the finish line by playing really good rugby at the moment, and then deal with that after a little bit of time in the European sun.
Oh, they'll come knocking, Sammy. The IP that you hold and you've experienced over the past, it'll be just a no-brainer to have you involved, particularly at line-out. What an absolute wizard. Not that I know much about that position, but anyway, we'll keep continuing on.
Were you ever in a line-out, Daggy, when you played?
Never went in a line-out. I took you on at the end of your functions, because I always thought the backs could get the vault. and have a crack at it. But that didn't eventuate, and you used to arc up about that situation. But we won't go there, Sammy. A stat I heard the other day, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Samuel Whitelock's played, and I think won 24% of all Blacks games. That is a phenomenal stat. Just shows how old you are, mate. You're like, what you've done and achieved, I don't think will ever be surpassed. You never say never, but it's going to take a hell of a lot to do what you've been able to do. Is there one moment that stands out for you, Sammy, and how were you able to do it?
I've been asked that question a couple of times over the last, 48 hours or whatever it's been. And I don't have a moment at the moment. At the moment, it sounds silly, but I think when I do have time to reflect, I'll actually look back at a lot of those things. And I've been lucky enough to play through a couple of generations. So, I think when I first started, I'm not sure what Richie was on, and Mills, I think they're on the most test caps of current players, and they were on 60 or 70. And then you look at some of the guys that I've managed to play alongside. I think I've been involved with all the guys that played 100 test matches for the All Blacks. I think I've played in all those games. So that's one thing that someone brought up the other day. I thought was pretty awesome because I got to share their moment of doing something that's amazing, and something like that kind of hits home a little bit, and it feels weird because I don't see myself as one of those guys. I just see myself as the normal old me, which Daggy, I like to say I'm pretty level-headed. Still. So there's.
You haven't changed one bit. You haven't changed one bit in 150 odd tests. I can say that. Your hair's got thinner, but that's another story. That's about
same
it.
Same hairdo though. So.
That's about it, mate.
Marshy from the Hawke's Bay just texted through, said, Sammy, I just drove over the new Rissington Bridge on my way for a hunt in Te Kāweka. Hey, don't forget Taradale is your closest club mate.
There's a bit of banter going on through family and a few close friends. We're going to get to the farm, but what rugby club do we associate? I know Daggy's a proud Pirates man, so there'll be a bit of that stuff going on, but I'm looking forward to giving back, like I said. So whether that's through rugby, whether it's through my daughters playing basketball or hockey or whatever, I'm looking forward to that challenge when that does arise.
Little Freddie going to come back and play for the mighty Pups, mate. How are the kids settling over there? One thing I've heard is when kids go to France, they pick up French language really quick. Is that happening with your kids?
Yeah, my kids, their French is a lot better than mine. But no, the kids have been great. Everyone said, your kids are more resilient than you. And at the time, I was like, well, kind of didn't really know what they're meaning, but I now understand. I've seen it firsthand. Kids communicate through everything but language. So Penelope, who's our youngest daughter, who's 2, she's got quite a few words and things like that, but she doesn't care if someone's French or they speak Spanish, because we're quite close to the Spanish border here. They're just into it, and they're resilient, make friends real quick, and they're actually loving the family time. That was one of the key reasons to come over here and spend some time with Luke, Claire, and their young son Jack.
Yeah, family, mate. Family, it seems like that is the centre of everything you're talking about. I don't know if you've heard this, Sam, but this came up when the news broke the other day that you were hanging up the boots. We got so many texts about this.
37 phases and counting. Here's Kelleher. Strong shoulders on him. Over the top, Sam Whitelock. Over the top, Sam Whitelock. Sam Whitelock, you are magnificent. Sam Whitelock has forced a penalty, and the game will be over. Sam Whitelock's career will go on, and the Irish will crash out of Rugby World Cup 2023. Always bet on black.
Always bet on black, Sammy. How does that sound?
Whew, gives me goosebumps.
I must admit, I haven't heard that, so it's pretty awesome to hear it. It's quite nice. I got the penalty and didn't get penalised, because I'm sure it would have been the other way around. But it just shows how it takes the whole team to get the job done. there's a couple of phases before. I think Artie almost got one. I almost got one a couple of phases before that. But I think it's something that in time I'll look back and really sit there with a smile on my face. And one thing that's going through my head is Conrad Smith said it to me one day, actually. Snakey's very, very intelligent man. He said, look, as rugby players, we're shockers. I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He goes, we never stop and celebrate those moments. It's always, hey, the next one, we've got a big game next week, or it's in that game, it's, hey, we're facing a team in the semi-final, and that turned out to be Argentina. So, like, yeah, we enjoyed that moment, but as soon as the game was over, we were, media, all those things, and we're into recovery, and at times it's really hard to stop and actually celebrate those moments. So I think that's, as I've said, when it does all stop, I think you look back at some of those things and appreciate what you've actually done and what you actually have achieved as a team, but as an individual as well.
I'll give you a bit of advice, mate. YouTube is great to fill the ego up. Great to remind the kids just how good Daddy was. All right, young fellas. So there'll be plenty of that going on. Sammy, we're going to let you go, but before I do, I have to ask you, how the hell do you score that try for the Crusaders against the Reds on the other side of halfway? You embarrassed me again.
No, you scored many Daggy. I just got to the line. It wasn't like you scoring on the dead ball line. We've all been there. We know that story, but as the story goes, Ben Fennell, little cousin, caught the ball, and he actually called for an inside ball, and I didn't want it, but he's kind of just like called for it and thrown it, and long story short, kind of blacked out there a little bit and scored the try. But Geordie Tafua jumped on me, and everyone was jumping on me, and don't score many tries, and to score one like that was amazing. But Geordie Tafua's kissed me in there because he's so excited, like kissed me on the cheek, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm absolutely heaving. So he's cracking up thinking it's a hell of a joke. I almost pulled my quad and Achilles at the same time. But as you say, Dagger, YouTube's great, but it's also bad because I've got back to halfway, like, I'm gone, I'm spent, like I've got nothing left. There's like 30 minutes to go in the game, and they've subbed me off straight away. And then Don Bird's come on for me, and about 5 minutes later, he scored his first Super Rugby try, little pick and go or whatever it was. And the cameras pan back to the bench, and I'm sitting there, I'm still heaving. So it definitely took a bit out of me. I don't think I've ever run that fast ever again. But,
I would have gave you a few butt taps too, mate. You're not really a bit of a cuddler, are you?
No, not really. Poor Drummo's got a stick lately, so.
Right. Hey, Sammy, thank you so much, mate. And I know it's hard because you're still playing, but be proud. I am. I had the privilege and honour to play alongside you, and growing up with you here in Christchurch too. So, yeah, one day you'll get a moment to reflect, and we'll sit back and enjoy the journey. Don't worry, I've already told the story how I put you to bed in 2017, so we'll just sit back and reflect.
I was going to say, you've told that story, but I bet Sam Whitelock has got about 100 stories the other way where he's put you to bed.
Won't give Sammy a chance to come back and talk about my moments, all right. Thank you, Sammy, mate. Appreciate you, brother.
No, all good. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, thanks very much. There you go, Sam Whitelock with us out of France, and what do you know, picked up.
I can't believe it.
There you go. Fantastic. What a man.
Can't believe it.
SENZ.